Struggling to discuss sex and intimacy with your partner?
Not feeling met, seen, or heard in your relationships?
I'm Janelle.
And I'm Andrea. We're two midlife mavericks sharing our own experiences.
Messy AF and no regrets.
With marriage, divorce, polyamory, and pleasure.
We've learned that when you're brave enough to figure out what you want and ask for it,
with partners, friends, family, and most importantly, yourself,
you'll feel more alive and free.
Question everything, especially your mother's advice.
There's no rom-com formula for this, but don't panic.
Being alone matters. Honey, I can't miss you if you don't leave.
What if your breakup could be your breakthrough?
Our podcast is for brave hearts.
Anyone who seeks or has found the courage to confront their fears and limiting beliefs about breaking societal norms in the spirit of finding their truth.
If you're seeking permission to be brave in your relationships
and want to feel less alone along the way, we got you. This is a whole different frequency. This episode, Juliana Luna is perhaps unlike any other voices you've heard before. She shifted my perspective on helping the world and embodying my own form of peace, and on considering how much my ancestors have helped me stand up straight. Yes, she is a friend, a priestess, and a sorceress. And she's our first sorceress that we are interviewing. And in her share, she has a way of pointing out concepts and things, about spirit, about Shakti, as she calls it, that seem invisible, and then she actually brings them into form with a sense of, so that there's clarity around them. And it's one of the ways, maybe as a sorceress, right? Like that's like sort of the magic, is she brings something that's invisible into the visible. And so it's quite a fascinating episode, and I'm excited for you to listen. Yeah, Juliana Luna has been listening to spirits since she was born. And she heard the first message when she was 8 and left home and started walking around and traveling. Her parents had to come and find her. Yeah. She is a very distinct soul that listens to spirit and resists a lot of other things. I don't know how she does it. It's own, in a way, is almost, she's like it's as if she's the opposite of what so many of us have experienced, which is we've resisted our listening to spirit and have taken in the outside world, where she has always listened to spirit and instead resists the messages of the outside world. Exactly. Fascinating. Wow. Just wait. Hi, brave hearts. Welcome to Permission to Be Human. I'm Janelle. And I'm Andrea. And you are listening to our latest episode of our season 5, Building a Relationship with God, or spirit, universe, the divine, whatever it is that you call it. And I'm so thrilled to be able to have a conversation today with my friend, Juliana Luna, who's here. And she's someone who I've crossed paths with this year, and she is deeply wise and profound and has so much wisdom to share about the spirit world and the world in general. So I'm really excited for this conversation. And Andrea, why don't you tell us a little bit more? Yeah, so Juliana Luna is a sorceress, splitting her time between New York and Brazil. She loves the ocean, kimchi, pole dancing, and any culturally authentic food. And most curiously, cleaning is one of the ways that Juliana Luna shows her love for people. And which I got to benefit from when she lived with me for a few months. And she taught me so much about that. So first we want to talk about her being a sorceress and what that means. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. You jump in. So Luna, can you tell me what a sorceress is in your terms?
A sorceress is someone that is fully rooted in her ancestral wisdom and has her full team on board with her mission. Someone that is dedicated to serving the world in, the ancient ways. and someone that is in relationship to the depth of their humanity.
Okay, and what does a sorceress do?
A sorceress.
It's going to be a sorceress episode, actually. We fooled you. Right first, we're just going to talk about this. No, go ahead. What does a sorceress do?
A sorceress does the way a sorceress walks the world is through her mission, serving, right? My experience as a sorceress, my personal experience as a sorceress, has been of someone that is deeply dedicated to the world through spirit, through my ancestral connection, through the guidance of the ones that are in the spirit world, like, guiding me through this journey. And by learning how to relate to humans, to relate to nature, to relate to everything around me, within me, from a place of curiosity. So, in my sorceress ways, I walk the world in devotion to all of that.
Fascinating. Thank you. Thank you for explaining that so articulately.
And the first thing you did was mention the word devotion, so you're the first sorceress that we're interviewing, and yet the word devotion has come up, I think, so far in almost every episode that we have interviewed people on this topic. So I'm seeing that as a through line. Luna, how else would you describe your spiritual or religious beliefs?
I come from a long lineage of priestesses and sorceresses. My grandmothers were all deeply oriented to this work. I was born in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. I am from a place where the depth of the African multicultural influence has really, really changed how people live. We are very connected to the spiritual world in, like, just generally as a culture. So it has been really beautiful to sort of like remember that from a cultural perspective, but then claim that as an Afro-Brazilian, in this lifetime, woman. My Afro-Brazilian roots come from candomblé, come from a tradition that stems from West Africa, specifically Benin and Nigeria. And I myself have been bestowed a priestess name from that lineage. And in my travels to Nigeria, I received a confirmation of that ancestral current that just keeps weaving through my lineage.
Luna, when you and I were living together, which was for a couple of months this past spring, I was really struck by how much the ancestors walked with you. And when I first met you and Damasa as well, I used to think, oh, that must be because it was African or Afro-Brazilian spirituality. And then it was, you also taught me that, oh no, that's actually, I have that too. Like, it's accessible to me as well. So can you speak a little bit about that there's a rootedness in where you come from, but that it's actually that all of us have ancestors that walk with us?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say the main foundation of the tradition that I come from is ancestry. We were very oriented towards ancestry because we understand that we cannot stand straight, like with our spine straight, without the support of the ones that came before us. So in the tradition, in Afro-Brazilian tradition, everything is related to that ancestral foundation. When we relate to the world from that place, we relate to the world from a place of steadiness. Like we are steady in our approach, it's steady in our belief, steady, like unwavering in the way in which we walk, right? The earth. We are guided step by step by that foundation. And what we realized is that through this lineage teaching, is that everyone, every single being in the world has the same ability to relate to their ancestry. It depends on how they want to relate to it. It depends on what practice they are adopting to relate to it. Japanese people have ancestral practices. Korean people have ancestral practices. Russian people have ancestral practices, right? We have very much cultures all across the world where ancestral practices are at the baseline of their spiritual understanding, because through those practices they are able to relate to the community and their environment from a place of integrity. We don't have that in the Western world so alive any longer, right? Indigenous practices have been erased. People of color have been completely erased from their contributions in society, and this is specifically here in North America. I mean, the whole world because of colonization and imperialism, but North America is very much suffering from that disease. And when I look at people that are, suffering, like in that sort of haze of what to do, where to go, don't feel supported, don't feel like they belong, I know that the root of that is their lack of connection to their ancestry.
So Bravehearts, I'm just gonna let you like like sit with that for a moment, because when I first was introduced to Luna, right, I was always like sitting and reflecting on what she was sharing. So a lot of it was really new for me, this concept. I've now, I'm grateful to say that I have a much more embodied practice, but she was my first introduction to some of these concepts. Some of her phrasing really struck me. And I'm curious, Luna, how did you first start building a relationship?
My ancestors are part of the lineage in which I walk with. They are divine in that sense. But my devotion is to the power that animates every living thing, which some call Shakti, some call God, some call the universe, some call higher consciousness. My devotion is to that loving, unwavering frequency that is all pervading. That is God to me. I will refer as God as Shakti in my language. It's the closest. I would say, description that I could find in text, in written text. My culture is very oral, and we don't have a lot of written literature around any of this. So the language is quite secret, like private. So in a way that people will understand, people that are listening to me will understand, I will refer to it here as Shakti.
When did you first know that you had a strong relationship with Shakti?
Um, I knew I had a strong relationship with the at a very, very young age. I was about, I would say, 3 or 4 at the time when I realized what was in my consciousness. It was this aliveness and curiosity that would make my whole body move. And
Mm.
I remember being a very alive child. Like I danced, I climbed things, I played outside, I was up in trees. And when I was about, my mom always says that, my grandma also, they always say that this, they always go, you were a very special little being. Like you were very weird and interesting. And I always asked them like, what was special about it? Like, what was interesting to you about it? And they were like, you had this nonstop curiosity and everything was like brand new to you. It was almost as if you were savoring everything with every breath that you took. And
Mm.
it was really
Mm.
interesting to hear that from them, because I then remembered this one time I was maybe like 7 or 8. I had this clear HD vision. Like there wasn't any fogginess in the vision. It was just like as if I was seeing the world like in bright colors. And it felt in my body like a different sensation. I felt something different. I was like, this is new. Like this is like I was awake, and interacting with the world from that place was like exciting. I felt excited at all times. It was this exhilarating kind of energy. Um, and one day I picked up my stuff. I packed a bag. I was about 8 years old. I packed a bag. I put it on my shoulder, and I went off and I walked for blocks, just walked and walked. And my father came looking for me in his car. He was driving, looking for me all around the neighborhood. And finally, he saw me and he's like, "What is wrong with you? What, like, where are you going? Why did you pack a bag?" I said, "Well, I'm leaving. I'm supposed to be traveling. I'm supposed to be in the world." And he was like, "Are you crazy? Like, you're 8 years old. You can't go anywhere." I was like, "I'm going. I'm gonna be at the airport." I had a whole vision that I had to
Oh
be at
my
the
gosh.
airport,
Oh my
and I was
gosh.
just walking. Yeah. So that was like how like when I first understood that there was something different about me.
Mm. So so you heard this. Did you hear a voice telling you this? Is that,
I
or
just
was it a
knew.
vision? You just
I
knew.
just knew. I just knew. I knew I had to pack. I knew I had to go, so I packed and I went.
Mm.
And it was an adventure. My dad was really mad at me and he gave me a scolding after that.
Mm.
I was
But what
grounded
I'm
for a
here,
couple days.
that's like the most beautiful quote unquote runaway story ever, where you're like, no, I'm supposed to be out in the world. What are you talking about? But what I'm also hearing in that is the purity of your listening and doing, right? Like you didn't question the message or question what came through, which I think is the journey that many people have to go through. Is, oh, they might be listening to their inner, they might hear, maybe they might hear their inner whispers, but then are in resistance to what it's saying. And what I'm hearing is that you've really never had a resistance to what your inner voice was saying. And so you've been very, yeah, close. I'm going to say close to it. Like like there's a vibrancy, what I feel and what you're describing.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
resistance. Like, how the hell are you doing that? Like, it seems
No.
so miraculous not to have any resistance against this. And yet you were 8. And so maybe you didn't have any of these culturally conditioned ideas that told you, no, you shouldn't go do that. How did this work?
As you
Um,
got older.
I feel like the more I listened to it, the more I felt like I belonged. I always had a very um, hard time belonging. And my hard time belonging was because of these sets of rules that were imposed on me that I knew didn't made no sense. It was almost as if I had this rebellious attitude that understood at a very fundamental level what it meant to be in this aliveness, in this curiosity, in this fearlessness. And there was this other piece that was trying to tame all of that. And as I felt that coming through, I felt very resistant to it. I said, no, I know what is correct for me. I know what my experience is to be in this curiosity, in this freedom. Why are you trying to tell me how to behave or what to do or not to do? And it felt like I was constantly going against that. So the more I listened to the knowing, the more I was rooted in that, like in that unwavering surrender, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Do you consider this relationship with Shakti different than your relationship with yourself?
No, no, it's one. It is not separate. There is like the devotion aspect is very deeply rooted in me. The devotion isn't to me, Luna, as this person that I am here in this world with this form and this way and this tone and this hair. The devotion is to the very breath that moves through me and animates the world. So it's almost as if there isn't any separation from that.
Okay, I really love that description of that the Shakti is the breath that animates you. This breath is what unifies and unites everything.
Yeah.
So with that understanding, how does this relationship help you find peace amidst the suffering that exists in the world?
I really appreciate this question because the suffering and the peace, they are, how do you say, two sides of a coin that is joint, right? A coin that is offered to us in this society so often. We have such hard time accepting the difficulties, and we also create the difficulties because that's all we know. And the peace aspect, to me, it is the deep acceptance that because of that belief of I don't belong here, or I am not supported by my ancestry, I am not rooted in the foundation that allows me to relate to myself and to my community and to everything around me from a place of integrity, I must create suffering. I must create challenge. I must hurt other people, right? There are very deep ingrained programs that are keeping people in this disease paradigm. And the peace is to be in relationship to that as a participant as well, right? I am participating in this culture, in this norm that we're all building? How am I taking responsibility for the pieces that are mine? What are the things that I can do with the service and the devotion that has been given to me as the unique individual I am to serve in the world, so that peace is felt through how I move in, in relationship to everything that I encounter. It isn't, peace isn't how do you say this, a static experience for me. Peace is a very active experience. I am in peace when I serve, and I'm in devotion of the depth of rootedness that is in my ancestry, that is in my understanding of presence. And in that way, the suffering isn't something I'm indifferent to. The suffering is something I'm in deep relationship to at all times.
Yeah, what I heard was that since suffering and peace are very much related, that when you are grounded in the foundation of your ancestors, of your beliefs, of your devotion, then that was what brings you peace and allows you to then be in service to the suffering that's happening in the world, to help bring peace to that suffering.
Yeah, I am embodying that peace. I am not bringing that peace because I need to save anyone from anything. I am serving through the devotion and the presence that I am rooted in. And in that way, I am becoming that peace. And in that way, I'm also um, experiencing peace as suffering comes. I am moving into the, mm, into the paradigm that doesn't deny anything, but takes responsibility for what is being created.
So I just hear a little bit of a paradox there in that you said peace was active
Mm-hmm.
rather than static.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's beautiful. And then at the same time, though, you are embodying peace just by being, not by doing.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah, it is. It is a
Okay.
paradox.
Yeah, that's okay. It can be.
Yeah, it is a paradox.
Just making sure I was getting it right.
The reflection is, it sounds like you have found a way to walk through the world in peace, regardless of the amount of suffering.
It's an interesting perspective that you're offering. I think there is a lot of regard. The regard is so absolutely present that it invites me to find the places in me where that conflict and that challenge lives, and where I can resolve or somehow hold space for that within my own experience. It doesn't even have to be resolved. But to feel it is the very invitation for that active embodiment of peace, right? If I don't feel it, then I can't be there. I can't get to the place where that actually touches me and invites me to serve, to serve from a place of integrity, right? And when I say from a place of integrity, I kind of want to offer also some perspective on this. Integrity to me in this context is, I am not here to save anyone. There isn't any ounce of me that wants to relate to the world as a savior, right? Like, I'm here to make the world better. I'm here to brighten the world. There isn't anything in me that it desires that. I am here to be in the world as the world is, accepted as it is, because I am part of it. Everything that is created in the world is, I am somehow adding to that, and I have a responsibility in that. And therefore, I am invited to fully contribute intentionally with a lot of regard, with massive regard. Because if I don't have that, if I am regardless, I end up missing the invitation and unintentionally, perhaps, creating more suffering.
Does your relationship with Shakti give you capacity to directly support the less fortunate? And if so, how?
Yes. I would like to call them, in my own language, the people that are in places of higher struggle and instability. I won't call them less fortunate, because what I am in deep relationship to is the understanding that imperialistic laws have made it so people become less fortunate, because it is through the rules and the laws of imperialistic and colonial powers that people are in places of struggle. So there isn't like, how do you say this? It would be naive of me to say, oh, I'm here helping out the people that need help because I want to relate to them and feel better about myself. Because that is, again, an imprint of what that imperialistic and colonial indoctrination has done to us. Is like, you need to be a better person, right? And the better person in lots of quotes, by helping the ones that don't have access, or helping the ones that are in a less fortunate situation than you. It is, to me, one of the biggest lies that have been sold to us. And in the spiritual world, we tend to buy into this from a very like non-questioning place. We're not questioning, why are these humans in this situation, right? What is the root of what these humans have endured to make them, quote unquote, less fortunate, right? People in places of higher struggle. And where am I in that scale? I'm in the scale in the place of less struggle, right? People, I can relate to people that are in places of higher struggle and say, I have the privilege to have less struggle because I have more access to resource. And the way in which I serve those people is by serving them without any need for retribution or reciprocation from them. Because what I can offer, I'm offering from a place of just like, I'm in a privileged position, so I can give. Here is what I can give. I will give you this. I have people that come and work with me, and I don't charge them for a session. I help people in Brazil that are my elders, that when they are in need of money and financial resources, I send it to them when I'm available and I can't do that. There are ways in which I relate to people in higher places of struggle, that are very much like, how do you say, a way of giving back, but it is quite complicated because of how everything has been set up for these relationships to give us some sort of sense of um, again, that same idea of, I'm here to better the world. I'm here to be a savior of the world. I'm here to be the good person, right? I'm really challenged by those concepts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Luna, thank you for rephrasing and for giving a deep explanation of how you see and understand it. I feel like this is one of your superpowers, is to be able to explain I'm going to say invisible, but it's not at all invisible to you, right? Of the impact of colonialism and imperialism, that as a white woman in America, I cannot see. And that you have this way of being like, oh, but here it's very real. It's very real. And then you phrase it and shape it in such a way that it's like, oh, of course I can see it now. And so I really appreciate what you just shared. So I'm curious, Luna, for someone listening, how would you suggest that they find their relationship or their belief, if they're kind of struggling on their spiritual path?
To me, the relationship with Shakti starts in the breath, in the place where everything originates. It is so precious that we get to be in breath together as this human family that we are, with all the struggles that we're going through. And the fundamental piece of this spiritual point is our relationship to breath. Our relationship to breath that is nature, right? What are the beings that sustain our breath? Trees. They sustain our breath. They are the very reason why we have enough oxygen in this planet. And they are somehow the less regarded ones because they are being taken down. In the Amazon, in my own country, we have acres and acres being taken down by private developers to make cattle farms. And so it is really, really profound to me when I come back to the breath, because I say, okay, the breath is my place of origin, and I must honor the beings that are allowing for me to return to that place of origin every day. In my tradition, in the Yoruba Afro-Brazilian tradition in Candomblé, we revere trees as sacred. They are our ancestors. We call them Iroko. Iroko is like the spirit of a tree. It's the place where all the offerings are given. So we come to the trees to give offerings because we understand that they teach us about life. They're a metaphor for life to us. Not only because we breathe the oxygen that they are constantly, creating, filtering, exuding, but also because of how rooted they are, because of the ancestral piece, and because of the deeper the root, the tallest the trunk, and the branches and how the branches organize themselves, right? It's like we look at it and we see the lungs, we see the alveola, we see the places in the lung that are returning to that memory of breath. And so it is an intrinsic relationship. I would say if you're struggling with your spirituality, go sit by a tree and breathe and remember why you're here. And there are so many ways to do that, to connect with that.
Something that we used to do on this podcast, Luna, is give Braveheart homework. And I feel that you just gave some right there, which is every Braveheart. This is an invitation for you to go to find a tree that's near you. I'm going to suggest one that you can possibly see every day, if it's even in your yard or on your street, or depending on, where it is, finding a park nearby and developing a relationship with that tree and sitting by it every day, or singing to it, or bringing it flowers and offerings, as Luna suggested. And, maybe give yourself the container of, do it every day for a week and then see what happens. And then maybe if you want to go again, do it every day for a month. But yeah, I think that it was almost like poetry, what Luna just described to me, of the relationship of our humanity to the trees, to the tree beings.
Yeah, our ancestors, they are very, very precious. We must protect them at all costs.
Beautiful. So Luna, what are some of your rituals and practices in your life that you do in your relationship with Shakti?
Breath work. I do breath work. I do meditation. When I'm in Brazil, I go through my annual rituals with my elders, where I'm doing baths that are made of specific trees, specific herbs and bushes that balance my own energetic field, cleanse my energetic field, prepare me for what's next for me. We have a very, very big relationship to the natural world. We believe that our healing comes from the natural world. So offerings, baths, dancing and chanting in nature, it's very, very common in our practices. So I try to do that wherever I am. I have an altar that I come to every day, and I pray to my ancestors. I pray to my guides, my spirit guides. I also, in my work, this is what I do, right? I support people in connecting to their guidance, their spirit guides, their ancestors, their beings that are ready to support and come forth, and allow for people to express their gifts in the world from that place of integrity. Again, I'm very big on mentioning integrity, because we do see a lot of people in the spiritual community that are doing really, really big things, but the integrity piece might not be so present. And so for me, the important thing is that in my practice, I'm keeping the integrity of my own, of my own gifts. And how do I do that? I do that by being in connection to my ancestors. They're the ones that check me every time I'm veering off. They're like, hey, where are you going? Don't go there. This is not where you're meant to go. Focus. Come back. You're deviating from the path. And if I am stubborn and I say, I don't want to listen to you guys right now, and I go into and do whatever that idea of mine, that brilliant idea of mine had for me, it's brutal. I get I get in trouble by my own doings, by my own decisions, and they're always there for me, saying, "Okay, let her be. She's gonna come back. She's gonna come back to us, and we're gonna have to put her back together. The little pieces, we're gonna bring it together and send her on her way again, and hopefully she will listen this time."
Wow.
So Bravehearts Luna just described a little bit about, how she works with people, and I can highly, highly, highly recommend her and her gifts and her offerings. And so Luna, in closing, how can Bravehearts find out more about you?
Okay, so people can come to find out about me at julianaluna.live. And how you spell that? Julina ANA, JULIANA LUNA, Luna.live, LIVE.
Perfect. Great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Luna, thank you so much, as always, for sharing your wisdom, I always leave conversations with you with a new layer of understanding about something that I didn't know before. And that's such a gift.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's really been so educational and poignant. And I feel like my whole body, my whole frequency is a little bit different after listening to you. So thank you. I appreciate your perspective.
Then Bravehearts, check out her website, and we will see you next week. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, Bravehearts. Love you.
Thank you.
Hey, Bravehearts. Looking for permission? Work with us. We offer Braveheart coaching.
Follow us on Instagram.
Meet us in real life at a Braveheart conversation.
Subscribe to our newsletter.
Do all this and more at our website, permissiontobehuman.live.